Hey, you knew it was coming. You knew it was coming. Are the Sixers going to New Jersey?
Mm.
Is it on the mind?
You are Locked On 76ers, your daily Philadelphia 76ers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for making Locked On 76ers your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. As playoffs wind down, the sports stop sporting like we want to, right? But this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right, there's something for everyone every day, all summer long. Visit fanduel.com to get started. Hello, I'm Keith Pompey, and this is my right hand man, John Mitchell. We are the co hosts of Locked On 76ers. We got a lot to talk to y'all about today. And the first thing we'll talk about is you kind of knew it was coming. There's a report saying that people from New Jersey want the Sixers to move to Jersey. Well, and the reason why you knew it was coming is because the Sixers are trying to get an arena built in Philly. And it's a little bit of a snag. And everybody said once it becomes a little bit of a snag, we'll start hearing stuff about people in Jersey wanting them. And the next thing is there might be a little report about the Sixers wanting to go there, the whole nine, but it's predictable. So we'll talk about that. The second thing we'll talk about is how long will it take the 76ers to mesh, right? They got Paul George, Caleb Martin, all these other guys coming in. How long is it going to take for this team to mesh? And then lastly, let's talk about the moves, what it says about the franchise. Like, did they make the best moves of any team this summer? And how has it catapulted them? So, Mitch, this report about the people in Jersey wanting the Sixers to come over there, to come to Camden, is something that I'm surprised didn't come out sooner, right? Is not shocking. It's extremely predictable. But it's one of those things where you look at it and you say to yourself, like, okay, first of all, it's not as simple as people saying we want you to come over. You got to get approval from the league, right? You got to do this and that. And, I just feel like you knew it was going to happen because, the Sixers are invested in getting the arena built downtown.
Right.
It seems like it's becoming a part of a snag. So then as soon as they said that, as soon as everybody talked about them going downtown, the thought process was, yeah, but they'll probably end up in Jersey just because they're not going to get it done and yada, 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 yada.
Yeah.
I mean, what's your thoughts on this whole thing?
Leverage. I think it's a leverage move. And I think it's a leverage move on the part of the 76ers. Would Camden love to have the 76ers? I think they would. It's they've got the space for it. It wouldn't, you can almost plop an arena down there, and there is development going on in Camden. Contrary to what people may think, there's a lot of development going on in Camden. But when you look at that article, I'm just looking at it right now, and I'm looking at some of the quotes, and one of them is, the state of New Jersey is making a serious push to convince the Philadelphia 76ers to move to New Jersey and into a new arena that will be built in Camden. For people familiar with the discussions concerned to NJ.com, the The sources indicated the talks have picked up recently, in part because HBSE's efforts to build a new arena in Center City, Philly have hit repeated roadblocks, despite the fact that the owners have indicated they would self-finance the $1.3 billion proposed project. It's kind of hard. I know that, when we discuss this arena down on Market Street, I think it's a little bit difficult if the Harris Blitzer organization is going to self-finance. If they're going to self-finance an arena down there, and I know we hear about Chinatown, and you're pushing people out. Well, I got news for you. If you can put a $1.2 billion arena in downtown Philadelphia, I was in Washington when they built the Verizon Center, the MCI Center, and whatever iteration it is right now, Capital One, whatever it is right now. Nothing stands in the way of progress. Philadelphia is a city that has been gentrifying all over the place, and I do think that they recognize. You'll hear the people who say, "Oh, it'll destroy Chinatown." Listen, it's business, and I hate to say it, but you either survive or you won't. It's survival of the fittest. And I kind of think that this is the Sixers saying, because the Sixers want that building in Philly. Every indication that they want their own building, they want it downtown. I think the whole, if they'll build parking. Again, if it's a $1.3 billion project, parking will go up. But it's worth taking a look at. And they couch it like we're very, the talks are very far down the road. I'm sure the 76ers ownership will listen for sure. They'll listen to anybody who has something, and it has an opportunity for them to get their own arena, particularly if they're willing to fund it. Who knows if they're willing to fund it if it's over in New Jersey as opposed to Philadelphia. So,
I mean, it's tax-free money. They're gonna get $400 million free if they move it over there. I mean, around that. Yeah. No, but here's the thing. Go ahead.
What they say in the embryonic stages of stories like this, and what the reality is always two completely. It goes from one end of the spectrum to the other. You know what I mean? So I mean, it's interesting. It's interesting. It will pop up now. I think it does put pressure. People don't want the 76ers to move. New Jersey, they don't want them to move. I mean, how many New York City teams play in Jersey? The Giants, the Jets. It's kind of, it's almost like New Jersey is almost like a receptacle for large cities. For Philly, if we want, the Sixers practice facility, beautiful practice facilities over there. So, but yeah, it's interesting. It gives you, it's something to read about in the summer months, and we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, here's the thing. To me, it you said something, the leverage thing, right? And that could be it, right? Or like it's coming out for leverage, like, hey, look, y'all, we really want to, stay here. This is what we're trying to do. If not, we can move elsewhere. Now, the problem is that there's a lot of stages you have to go through before you move a facility, right? Now, they're going to be still known as the Philadelphia 76ers, most likely, but they just happen to play over there. But there's two things that really gets me. It's kind of like, apparently, if you talk to people, when the Sixers moved that practice facility there was a belief in Camden that it was going to elevate the area. Like there was going to be more restaurants, more shops, more jobs coming in. And while there are some, is not to the liking of people thought. So now all of a sudden it's like, are the people who were upset or disappointed, are they going to be happy now? Like, oh, well, they're going to build an arena here. So now it's going to be some of the things. Now maybe that could make a change. But, it's kind of like they were disappointed at one thing, but now they're going to be happy at something else.
Right.
Secondly, it's kind of sort of like I think if I'm the Sixers, I'm in a no-win situation because let's be real, they're going to be a fashion of the fan base to say all this was a ploy to get over in Jersey in the first place.
Yeah.
While even though you say that you were fighting hard, you knew you wanted to move the team over there. And, you know, Jersey, I live in Jersey, dude. I live in Jersey now. I'm from Philly. There's a lot of people who live in Philly that don't know jack about Jersey and don't
Yeah.
want to go to Jersey,
Yeah.
right? And it's not a knock on Jersey. It's just that it's a different world. Like to them, they feel like even though it's so close, they feel like it's so far away. And then all of a sudden, I can see people saying, "You mean I got to take the train, or I got to drive over there, and then I got to pay a toll to come back?" You know,
Yeah.
this and that. It's just a lot, man. It's just a lot. And I feel like where it's going to be at downtown, where they want it at, you know, or where it is now, it's more accessible to get to.
It is.
Even though we saying is in Jersey, you could take the Paco line and all. And come over. I mean, New Jersey, you know, train all that Paco and come over and then and get off and walk down those 2 blocks, what have you. But I just don't see it, man. Like I don't see it. I don't see. I mean, people, you build it, they will come. They say, right? But
Yeah. I think they will.
I don't see the initial support like that. And I also think that the Sixers are on a no-win situation where people are looking at it as if the plan all along was to get this arena built over in Jersey. Now, again, it ain't the Sixers saying it. What's happening is what we're hearing is that people in New Jersey want them to come over. It's not the Sixers, right? So that's the way that is coming about. But I honestly think that what people are going to say is it was the Sixers if it happens.
But you know what I mean? But you know what though, and those same people who say that will bite the bullet and root for the team. You know, and I don't know what the investment will be like, but it's a lot of, hey man, don't knock. Like, I mean, you're over there in Jersey. You one of the rich folks over there now. You drive through parts of Jersey, man. There are some nice sections of Jersey. They can support a professional sports team over there. So, I mean, I think it's part of the typical leverage that is applied when you're trying to, you know, when you're in negotiations to build a new arena. You're pushing back against Comcast, a mega organization. But it's a juicy subject to talk about. Maybe we'll talk about it a little bit more. And we'll also talk about the 76ers, the action squad we know, and how will that team of Paul George, and Joel Embiid, and Tyrese Maxey, how will they mesh? How long will it take them to mesh when the season begins, the 24-25 season begins? But right now, let's talk about FanDuel. I love sports. Man, I love them so much that I never want them to stop. But as the playoffs wind down, we get fewer and fewer games. And the playoffs have not only wound down, they have ended. We are in Summer League, and Summer League is coming to an end. Got the Olympics coming up. So the sports just aren't sporting like I want them to. But FanDuel lets me keep the sports going whenever I want. All I have to do is open the app and dream up bets anytime I'm in the mood. And this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everyone, every day, all summer long. So head over to FanDuel.com and start making the most out of your summer. That's FanDuel, official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball.
Do it today, people. Definitely do it today.
Do it till the fluid gets hot. It's going to be a little cooler these next few days. Well, anyway, tell me this. Are you watching Fox Sports or ESPN on your TV all day? You see, Skip is getting ready to get the axe, but I digress. Sometimes you have to turn down the volume with all that shouting. Why don't you make the switch to Locked On Sports today? A free 24/7 sports streaming channel programmed for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the screaming. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't-miss analysis, opinions, and news, streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app. part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every single solitary day.
Yep. Hey, so listen, this Skip Bayless is a prime example of be careful what you ask for, right? And what I mean by that is,
good segue, Keith.
You didn't want your boy, and now you Shannon Sharp. Now it's like you getting canceled, right? But then, and the thing about it is, when you look at the Sixers, you gotta. Some people say be careful what you wish for, but I think that they'll be fine. But again, it's going to take a time to mesh. Now, as much, I don't think it may not take as much as people expect. The good thing here is that, we got 3 different guys playing different positions. The biggest thing is who's going to be the one to sacrifice. Mm-hmm. They have to know who's going to be the one to sacrifice. Now, ideally, you would think, based off of the way the position, we all know Joel going to get the ball. Mm-hmm. We all know that. Maxey has the ball. So the person who you assume is going to be the one that's going to sacrifice some of their game is going to be PG. Mm-hmm. But then when you're paying a guy $212 million to be a third option, how is that going to work out? How is he going to feel about that? But you would think that those are the types of conversations that you had beforehand. You would hope that you had those. Mm-hmm. But secondly, the fact that they play 3 different positions is different than I feel like you written Chris Paul or Russell Westbrook to come in and play alongside Harden. Yeah. Or you have Russell Westbrook playing alongside LeBron James. Although Russ is a point guard, LeBron James is extremely ball dominant. Mm-hmm. So when you see stuff like this, you feel like it's not going to be that hard of a mesh thing. The problem that they may have is a guy like Caleb Martin, who is a small forward, a shooting guard, and you're saying that right now what they're going to have is they got 3 interchangeable players, one in Kelly Oubre, Paul George, and Caleb Martin. So how is that going to work out in the starting lineup, if that is your starting lineup, right? I don't think you're going to have a problem with Drummond. I don't think you're going to have a problem with KJ Martin. I don't know how much he'll play, right?
If they got a problem with KJ Martin, they're going to have problems.
If they have one. But I'm talking about him with his role, like getting in there and playing with his role. But so to me, the big question is how long is it going to take for them to figure out roles with the big 3? Mm-hmm. And then what are you going to do with Caleb Martin?
Yeah. I think number one, Nick Nurse is a championship coach. He's won a championship. So we have to give him the benefit of the doubt and say that he will accelerate the development of the 76ers roster. Number 2, we've said it here, and it appears to be somewhat of a consensus. And you just touched on it, with the comparisons of LeBron, talking about the Lakers and some other big 3s, Phoenix, who haven't necessarily meshed that well because the Peaches kind of come and then they diverge in different directions. I think that if you look at the way this roster is constructed, I think that it's going to merge. It's going to be a quicker merge. I think obviously it's a better team than it was last year. I think a guy like PG will fit in. When you look at it, like we've always said that Joel Embiid has to do too much for this roster, for this team, and he does too much because he has more God-given ability than anybody, probably anybody else in the league to be this, to be as big as he is. It's always when he's on the floor. So if he is on the floor and healthy, I think they'll have. I want to see him do. I want to see more of his game. We saw it last year. Last year, he became an even better passer. I think he has the opportunity, and people looking at him in the Olympics, and that includes us, and saying, he's struggling a little bit with the double team. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt that the rules are different, that he is making a transition and playing with players who, his role completely changes on the Olympic team. They want him to be a rim protector. They want him to be, they're going to need his physicality down low. But we know when the 76ers resume this season, you're going to see Joel popping out. He's just not going to alter that. So I think that as far as meshing, I think it's going to be, I don't want to, I think it's going to be pretty seamless, Keith. I do. I think it's you have a huge upgrade in Tobias's old spot. You have a major upgrade. You can play longer minutes with your backup center on the floor. And there are going to be some nights when, say, PG has it really going and Maxey has it really going, that they're going to, you may see a lot more Drummond, because the Sixers are going to be perpetually and constantly mindful of the play and how they use Joel, because they're looking at his body wearing down. And they realize, hey, this is a guy who's also, we're considering giving $190 million extension. So they're going to do things to preserve him. It's amazing looking at a roster that has 3 players earning $200 million, with over $200 million in contracts, 3 of them. But I think they'll mesh. I think by as they get to the All-Star game, and if everybody's healthy and playing well, I think they're going to mesh pretty well, and almost seamlessly this year. I do, Keith. Yes, we have questions. Nobody, they still need a power forward. I think Caleb Martin is going to come here with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder because of that money short. He didn't. So, I think guys have reasons to be motivated. I need, if I'm Joel Embiid, I need to get the hell out of the second round of the playoffs. I need to be looking at the finals. I don't need to be, second round of playoffs. No, you got 3 guys making over $600 million.
Yeah.
Money goes up, the expectations go up.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way it is.
We'll definitely see. We'll see. The expectations are going to go up, and we'll talk about those expectations when we get right back. That was quick. But yeah, the expectations are going to go up. But do you think they can live up to these expectations? Because, ever since they've been, since they signed PG, I've been on a lot of radio shows, and people, when I was out at Summer League, people were asking me, and everybody's talking about how great the Sixers are going to be. That's all they're talking about. And I'm like, hold up. We got to see who's going to be the power forward, what they're going to do, who's going to be the backup point guard, this and that. There's a lot of different things than just worrying about the big 3 or the big 4 or whatever. But do you feel as if that this team is capable to contend?
Yeah, I think so. I think you didn't bring. I don't think that you bought Paul George here not to contend. I don't think we it's not a conversation piece. I think that they we'll concede Boston is the best team in the league. But here we are in August of 2024, heading into the summer. I don't think we concede that the 76ers can't compete for a championship. And there's certain things that have to happen. They have to stay healthy. They can't wear it down. Boston's going to have that championship hangover. It always happens. And hey, man, the other teams got better as well. The Knicks got better. But I think the 76ers have to be in the conversation as potential champions, as a potential championship team. If Joel Embiid looks like if Joel Embiid can get to May and June and look like he looks in November and December, I think it's very, and that should be the expectation. The expectation shouldn't be let's get out of the second round. Screw that, not anymore. The expectation now needs to be that, we're looking at our payroll, and Brandon Jennings said it on Gilbert Arenas' podcast. The expectation has to be championship, man. It's just you put pressure on these guys with the money they're making. You have to be willing to accept the pressure, the responsibility that comes along with it. And I think that they, is it the best team in the league? No, Boston looks better than they do on paper. Perhaps Oklahoma City looks better than they do on paper right now. But if you get a healthy, if Joel Embiid stays healthy, he's the key. He's always going to be the key. How far they're going to go is dependent on his health. So if you're going to accept a $190 million extension, you come in here, and here I go with my redundancy. You come in here 280, a real 280. That 280 is really 295, 300, and and again, I don't want to sound like I'm beating up on Joel, but I think that this team, can come together, can mesh, and compete for a title. I really do. I think if not, I think it's a disappointment.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I agree. I think they can compete. I don't know if they're the team to beat, though. You know what I mean? Like, of course, yeah, they're not. And I don't even. I mean, it's set up for everything, but they got, like you said, the key is Joel. It's all about Joel. Like, you know what I mean? Like, none of this matters.
None of it matters.
Like, nothing matters unless he comes to play.
And I hate to see when people say, "Oh, you're being too hard on him." I mean, those are the expectations that come along being a professional athlete with elite talent. Those are the expectations.
I mean, here's the deal. Let's be real. If you take Joel Embiid off this team, are they better than the Clippers the last couple of years, talent-wise?
No.
Exactly.
No.
So basically, he's the X factor.
He's the X factor.
He's that guy.
Yeah.
He's that guy.
Yeah.
It's up to him. He's the one that, boom, gets him over the hump. So he has to play that way. You know what I mean? He has to be healthy.
What I say, Keith, is when he's healthy, he's the best. If you look at the Bryce Harpers, if you look at the Jalen Hurts, if you look at the elite athletes, the pitchers of the Phillies pitchers, Joel does what he does as a professional athlete, taking a check better than all of them. He's at the very top of the pecking order. He's at the very top of the Philadelphia food chain. So we have expectations of Bryce Harper. We have Jalen Hurts has already taken his team to a Super Bowl. Now he's got his 150th offensive coordinator in as many, in 4 years as a starter. But the expectation is those guys, as good as they are, Bryce Harper's a Hall of Famer already. But as good as they are, Joel is better at what he does. So, and he's in his prime.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
It's kind of hard to.
Yeah, he just it's all about him. It's all about him and what he's going to do.
And I think that's why people say we're a little critical of him in the Olympics. Oh, give him time to adjust. He's getting paid, man, and we know what he has. And
you can't give him time to adjust. Ain't nobody else adjusting. They all playing. Like you can't. It's like professional sports. This ain't like you're a freshman going to high school and learning how to play. Like you're the best player in the world. Like you gotta play. You gotta come out and play. You gotta look like you belong. Like you were the best. You were the biggest free agent of the summer for the Olympics. You could have played for the Cameroon. France got you a passport because they wanted you. Gave you citizenship. And then you came to the U.S. Nah, bro. Missed me on that one. But look, y'all, Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube, and now it's also available on Amazon Fire TV and the free Fire TV channel app. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, our national shows covering every league. Find Locked On Sports Today, now available on the free Fire TV channels app. So I hope y'all have a great weekend. I would like to say goodbye from my man Mitch and me. Would like to say deuces, and we'll be back with y'all on Monday. Peace out, people. Peace out.
Have a great weekend.